What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich, back to bring your MLB props for Sunday, July the 31st. Today, we are going to be talking about a few hitters that have been really hot so far, and so let's dive into the slate in a little bit. But first, we have to talk about how Aaron Judge hit another home run yesterday, going over his 9.5. Unfortunately for us, Adolis Garcia did not come through. He was 1 for 5, but he did have an RBI, and so it makes me think that today I may be willing to bet him on PrizePicks at over half a run or RBI. Maybe it's just a better shot for him, better opportunity. He can do it with one hit instead of having to go over with 2. But as well, JD Martinez did go under again, so if you want to take him again today, I think it's a pretty good play. If you ask me, I'm just fading JD right now. He just hasn't been good, and we're going to keep rolling with it. If you've been rolling with JD and Judge, you've been making a lot of money. So let's dive into the slate right now, starting with, of course, Paul Goldschmidt, right at the top of the list. Steven Kwan, Aaron Judge, Luis Rengifo. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. The Los Angeles Angels player, Luis Rengifo. Let's go with Luis Rengifo, and hopefully that is correct. Byron Buxton, Adolis Garcia, Andrew Mccutchen, Jose Ramirez, and of course JD Martinez. Paul Goldschmidt up against Josiah Gray today. Josiah Gray has been playing much better in recent memory. So one thing with Josiah Gray, he was a heavy target early in the season. I talked about him a lot, how he was god-awful. He's been getting much better. I was looking at his game log the past few days. He's been going 5 innings. He's been getting 6 strikeouts pretty much every single game. He's done it in 7 of his last 8 games. So if you did want to bet him to get 6 strikeouts, he is 5.5 on PrizePicks. I'm not all the way there, but I think there's definitely opportunity. Neither team has seen him. He's never seen the Cardinals. So there is a lot of interesting aspects to that there, but I will definitely be playing Paul Goldschmidt today against Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray is a emerging pitcher, but he's not quite there yet, and I think that Paul Goldschmidt will be able to take advantage. His line is only 7.5 for some reason. If it was 8.5, I'd be much more fearful, but at 7.5, I'm much more willing to take the risk at a fairly high number. Steven Kwan up against Shane McClanahan, even at 4, I'm like, ugh, man, I don't know. He's been really, really good, but I just don't know if I want to run the risk playing Steven Kwan against McClanahan. He's just, when he's on, and it's very difficult to beat McClanahan. So I will be fading Kwan, even though he has been pretty good recently. Judge, you got to play him. He's up against Zach Greinke. Greinke, a very crafty, smart, intelligent pitcher, been around a long time, but I don't think he's going to be able to work around Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has been too hot. Every day he's been hitting a home run, or he's been getting doubles. He's been getting, saving home runs. There's pretty much nothing that Aaron Judge can't do. I think you have to play him. Again, him and JD Martinez to me are must plays. And I think you just play them with Paul Goldschmidt and you see what happens. If you want to play Luis Rengifo, he's been really good, surprisingly. 1.4 hits, 2 total bases, not so many runs, not many RBIs, half an extra base hit. But the big thing is that he steals bases. He stole 2 bases yesterday, and he's been batting in a pretty decent spot in the order. So if you do like a player like that, he's not a bad guy to target half. I'm going to be I'm kind of monitoring right now up against Dane Dunning, who is not the best, especially recently has not been performing very well. 5.5 number, though, is really good. If you get on base, get a steal, done. Over, no problem. So I do like guys like that. Then talk about Byron Buxton. 8 on the season, or almost 9 on the season, 12 on the 14, and over 15 on the 7. But he's basically home run or bust right now. You see a hit per game, 3 total bases per game, a run per game, and 0.6 RBIs. That's the problem. He's an amazing talent, amazing hitter, but he's home run or bust. So again, you're taking him 7.5. He's averaging 13.96. It's not a risk I want to take. As much as I love Buxton, I think he's a great hitter. I think I'm just not willing to run the risk of a home run or bust guy like that. But if you want to, he's been very hot and been really, really good so far. Back to the player I was talking about last time, Adolis Garcia, up against Reed Detmers. Not the best matchup against Detmers. Park factor is fine, but he's still been pretty good. He had a hit and an RBI yesterday. So again, he's not like he's struggling mightily, but he is kind of, a guy that I don't trust fully, but I do like a lot. I think there's a lot of upside with Garcia, and he can steal bases as well. So there is a lot to like there. Still 11.64 on the 14 and 13.5 on the 7-day, over a hit per game, 2.5 total bases, so an RBI per game. Like there's a lot to like, and so I think the better bet is to take him for a run or RBI over 0.5 on PrizePicks right now. That line was available last time I checked, and that's one that I would be willing to take overall. Then you get Andrew McCutchen, who's been on this list a lot, up against Josh Winkowski, who's pretty good. We'll see how he actually plays today. He's been up and down. He's not going to go very long. The Boston bullpen is terrible. I'd expect Milwaukee to put up some runs, but McCutchen hasn't been playing the best. He ends up on this list a lot. He gets a pretty lofty projection most days, but it's just because he has a low total, right? You see the Brewers, they're usually in like the 50 percentile or so they don't always make the short list, but McCutchen is usually a lower number, and so he does. The reason why is because he hasn't been producing quite where he needs to be, and 6.5, it's a fine number. I just don't think I'm willing to take him. And then Jose Ramirez has been hitting a lot of home runs lately. There was a time when I was taking him quite a bit, but today I will not be. Only 5.5. Don't hate it, but it's McClanahan. I just don't want to bet he's going to get the best of McClanahan. He needs more than a hit plus. We talk about hit plus, like a hit and RBI. That's when you're at 5 or 4.5 is great numbers, but at 5.5, he will need to do a bit more than a hit and an RBI. A hit, run, RBI is where he needs to be. A hit, an RBI or a run and a walk, and so it's just a bit more he has to do, and that's why I'm not going to be taking him. And then JD Martinez, I don't need to say anything about him. He's terrible. 0.67 over his last 14, 1.2 over his last 7. It's just another guy I want to mention as well. If you do want to take an under that I will probably be betting later today is George Springer. George Springer, I'm just going to pull up his number here, actually. Let me just unfilter this really quickly and go look at the Toronto Blue Jays because they are interesting. They have a pretty good matchup. Let's go down here, Toronto. So we don't know who they're going to be pitching against, but you have George Springer here at 8.5. And the reason why, you can't even see this. Oh my God. So we have George Springer here at 8.5. And the reason I want to talk about George Springer is because he's been dealing with an injury lately, and I don't know what to expect from him day to day. So yesterday, I was watching the Blue Jays game, and he was really laboring after his first swing. I was like, okay, he's definitely really hurt. And so I bet the under on his hits, and it was like plus 140, and he didn't get a hit, right? He drew a walk, which is fine. That's not going to hurt you at all. But Springer here at 8.5 is just way too high. I know he bats leadoff. I know he can steal bases, all that. But if you wanted to take this shot on a guy, monitor this situation. If you're, maybe you're a Blue Jays fan, maybe you want to watch this game for some reason, even though Detroit doesn't have a starting pitcher, it's interesting to see what may happen with Springer because he should probably be sitting out right now. He's not looking good. He's not looking healthy. He's a guy that needs to rest, but apparently rest isn't going to help his shoulder, and so he's just playing through it. But yesterday it was like he couldn't even get the ball out of the infield. He was hitting grounders. He was, he drew a walk, which is awesome. He still has a great eye, can draw walks. But at 8.5, he would have to do a lot to come through for the team. And I think he'd have to do it, frankly, by hitting the ball into the gaps and stuff like that, and stuff he just hasn't really been able to do. And it's no indictment to him. He's hurt, he's injured, and he has to deal with it because he can't get surgery because they're trying to make a playoff push and all these things. But I do think there's a world where I may be taking some Springer unders, even though the data isn't quite there to support it yet. I think he could be in for a bit of a tailspin, right? And so that's one of the things with Springer right now is that over the past couple of days, he's been okay, but yesterday he looked like he was really struggling. And so if, today it comes out again that he's still kind of struggling a little bit. I mean, this game also starts at 12:05 Eastern time, so it starts pretty early. But this is one to watch with Springer if you're, a single game bettor or you want to bet on PrizePicks. There is a lot of things I'm going to be monitoring with Springer because he's been DHing, he's not playing the field because he's hurt. Right. And so if you did want to take an under here, I do really like it. I don't think he's going to go over at all. I'd be really, really shocked because he just looks hurt. Every swing hurts. Every time he makes a swing attempt, just any swing, he's laboring. You can tell he's visibly in pain. It just doesn't look good for Springer. He can't extend he just can't extend his arms, or it's going to just hurt his shoulder. And so that's what I'll be really monitoring, but I'm still going to be sticking with what I talked about earlier today with Aaron Judge, Paul Goldschmidt, and JD Martinez. And if you want to sprinkle in a George Springer under, I don't hate that at all. But those are kind of the three I'm going with today. I'm rolling with the guys that have been working for us so far, continuing to rock with those guys. But as always, make sure you drop me a like and subscribe for future content if you appreciate what I do each and every day. I'm probably not going to do a video tomorrow. We're doing a party for my brother's birthday, but I will see you guys when I see you. And another one, if you want another play, just because I'm here, Austin Voth under 4 strikeouts. And then on top of that, Aaron Nola over 7.5. Austin Voth is one that I was looking at as a kind of a parlay piece today. He's only hit 4 strikeouts once in his last 8 starts. He's a guy that only throws about 70 pitches, goes about 3 to 4 innings innings for Baltimore, so he's probably not going to go very deep. He's only hit that threshold of 4.5. He's only gone over 4.5 once. I think he's hit 4 one time, and he hit 6 one time, and of course, it was against the Angels, who are god-awful, so I do not expect him to get over 4 strikeouts today. So if you did want to take that one as well, another play throwing out there for you guys, tons of stuff, different research, different angles to the game. But as always, if you tail, give them hell, and if you fail, don't bail. Goldie, Judge, and JD, roll with those guys. I think we're gonna have some cash today. I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.